happens late at night. Or maybe it happens right in the middle of a chaotic workday. You find a track. Maybe it's a new discovery. Maybe it's an old favorite from a decade ago. You press play. The song ends. And then, without even thinking, your finger hovers over the button. You don't want to hear a different song. You don't want the algorithm to recommend something new. You want that specific sequence of chords again. So you hit repeat. 3 hours later, you are still inside the same 3 minutes of audio. If you were to explain this to a highly extroverted, novelty-seeking person, they would look at you with concern. They might call it obsessive. They might tell you that you're stuck in a rut or that you need to expand your horizons. You might even start to judge yourself. You think, why can't I move on? Why do I need this repetition? Is my brain broken? Let's stop that narrative right now. You are not broken. You are not stuck. What is happening inside your skull when you loop a song is not a failure of will. It is a highly sophisticated biological defense mechanism. You are creating a sonic shield. Today, we are going to look at the mechanics manual for your brain. We are going to dismantle the myth that variety is always better and explain exactly why you use repetition to survive in a loud world. Why does the standard advice to mix it up feel so wrong when you are stressed? We live in a culture that fetishizes novelty. We are told to binge the new show, stream the new album, scroll the new feed. The mainstream psychological model suggests that happiness comes from variety. But for the introvert, for the observer, and for the deep feeler, the unexpected is not a reward. It is the cost. Every time you encounter a new stimulus, a new face, a new notification, or a new song, your brain has to perform a complex calculation. It has to process the data, categorize it, decide if it is a threat, and determine how to react. This consumes energy. It burns through your glucose and taxes your executive function. When the world is chaotic, when your job is demanding, or when you are simply feeling the weight of existence, your brain's processing buffer is full. The last thing you need is a shuffle button. Shuffling music is a micro-stressor. It forces your brain to constantly reorient itself. What is this beat? Do I like this lyric? What emotion is this triggering? It is a continuous stream of low-grade unpredictability. When you reject that variety and choose the loop, you are diagnosing the problem correctly. The world is too loud, and the signal-to-noise ratio is off. Let's get under the hood. Why does the loop feel like a warm blanket? To understand this, we have to look at how the brain processes the future. Your brain is, fundamentally, a prediction machine. It is constantly running simulations of what will happen in the next second, the next minute, the next hour. This is how we survive. When the brain predicts something correctly, it feels safe. When it predicts something incorrectly, it triggers an alert. This is known as the prediction error. When you listen to a new song, the prediction error is high. You don't know where the melody is going. Your brain is on high alert, trying to map the terrain. But when you listen to a song you know by heart, and you put it on repeat, you reduce the prediction error to 0. You know exactly when the drum kick hits. You know exactly when the voice cracks on the high note. You know exactly how the fade-out sounds. This creates a state of cognitive ease. When the brain achieves cognitive ease, it stops scanning the environment for threats. The amygdala, your brain's smoke detector, quiets down. The prefrontal cortex stops being distracted by the new and can finally settle into a rhythm. But there is a second Deeper mechanism at play here. It is the concept of emotional regulation via externalization. Sometimes you feel an emotion that is too complex to process alone. Maybe it's a specific type of melancholy or a quiet rage. These emotions are heavy. Carrying them requires effort. When you find a song that matches that specific frequency and you loop it, you are offloading that emotion onto the music. Imagine a cup. If you keep pouring water into it, it overflows. That is your emotional state. The song acts as a second cup. By looping it, you are keeping the container present. You are staying in the feeling, but you are no longer the only one holding it. The repetition confirms that the feeling is valid, that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that it can be survived. So, if this is a healthy mechanism, why do we feel guilty about it? Why do we feel like we're glitching out? The glitch isn't in your brain. The glitch is in the environment we built. We are currently living through an epidemic of decision fatigue. It is estimated that the average adult makes roughly 35,000 remotely conscious decisions every single day. What to eat, what to wear, what to click. For the quiet authentic, the person who values meaningful choices over abundant choices, this is exhausting. The glitch happens when the outside world demands we perform happiness by constantly consuming new things. Social media algorithms are designed to disrupt loops. They are designed to push you to the next video, the next song, the next trend. If you listen to one song for 4 hours, the algorithm thinks you are inactive. It thinks you have stopped consuming, but you haven't stopped. You have gone deep. The tension you feel is the friction between your biological need for stability and society's artificial demand for novelty. You are trying to build a sanctuary, and the world is trying to sell you a carnival. When you loop a song, you are essentially hacking the dopamine system. Usually, dopamine is triggered by the anticipation of a reward. In a new song, the reward is the surprise. In a looped song, the reward is the certainty. You aren't chasing the high of the unknown. You are stabilizing the voltage of the known. You are engaging in a modern, digital form of chanting. You are boring the anxiety so that the creativity can speak. Now that we understand the biology, how do we use this? How do we stop judging ourselves? We need to reframe this behavior. You are not obsessing. You are engaging in sonic gating. Here is the protocol. Identify your anchor tracks. These are songs that reliably trigger a specific state of mind. One for deep work, one for calming anxiety. Stop trying to find new music when you need to recover. Go to the anchor. Shamelessly loop it. You are building a neural pathway. If you have work to do, use the loop to lower the activation energy. The hardest part of working is starting. If you have to choose a playlist, that's friction. If you put on the loop, you remove the variable of time. The music becomes a flat line, a texture in the background. This allows your brain to allocate 100% of its resources to the task at hand. When you are feeling overwhelmed, do not force yourself to cheer up with upbeat pop music. That creates cognitive dissonance. Instead, lean into the loop. Let the song run until the emotion runs out. Usually, you will find that after 20 or 30 repeats, the song loses its flavor. That is the signal. The chemical reaction is complete. You can now move on naturally. The next time you find yourself hitting that back button, I want you to pause. Do not judge the impulse. Recognize what you are doing. You are building a fortress of solitude in sound. You are taking control of your sensory input in a world that is trying to drown you in noise. The quiet authentic does not need 1,000 songs to feel something. They need one song felt 1,000 times deep. Here is your experiment for today. I want you to find that one song. You know the one. Put headphones on, isolate yourself, and play it on loop for 30 minutes. Don't do anything else. Just listen. Watch how your anxiety drops. Watch how your breathing slows. Watch how the world stops spinning so fast. You are glitching. You are regulating. If you want to understand the psychology behind the choices you make when you are alone, if you want to understand why you prefer the quiet, the deep, and the real, then you have found your people. Click subscribe to join the Silent Observer. We explore the science of the unspoken.